I'm delighted to be in your midst, and for me this is the most important event of the whole conference. You are perhaps wondering if I'm honest to say that. Yes, I am, and I can explain you why. All the other events where I was in panels and where I will be in panels and so on are interesting, and of course I pretend to learn and so on. But with your audience, I'm not talking about the first row, but after the first row, you are the ones who can communicate what we are talking about. And you can communicate in a much better way than politicians, than governors, than commissioners can do. So I need your help to explain why we are so involved, why we are so interested in that whole development. Talking about Europe, so now and then I'm a bit modest, and I'm aware that Europe is my plate, so to say. We are talking about an extremely important and fascinating development, talking about a digital industrial policy. And sometimes I'm getting emotional when I'm talking about the situation of Europe. And in most cases, I can assure you, I will be professional. But when people are asking me, what is your biggest worry in Europe at the moment, it is the youth unemployment. And you will certainly say or think, goodness gracious, she is at the wrong event. This is not about youth unemployment. It is. It is an extremely interesting and fascinating issue. Can a society accept in certain parts of Europe to be confronted with youth unemployment of more than 70%? You can't. Then you are talking about a lost generation. And now I'm making the jump to what is at stake. We do have great opportunities in Europe. We have proven that we are great in technology, that all those European-based located companies can do an extremely good job, that we were in the driver's seat and that we have to go back in the driver's seat, and that in certain areas we are still in the driver's seat. Having said that, and therefore the digital industrial policy is so important, but you need a healthy climate in which you can just perform. And now I'm coming to the point that is related to this conference. The telco sector is of extreme importance, even more important than they were. Why? Because they are related. It's not anymore talking about telco sector in itself. It's not anymore talking about those manufacturers of the stuff, so to say. It is talking about the link with all those industries, talking about what Marcus was also saying. It is linked with, for example, environmental industries. It is linked with talking about energy. It's linked with e-health. It is linked with semiconductors, with microelectronics, with photonics, and name it, automotive industry. You need a healthy telco sector, and otherwise it is over. They can't perform. If we are aware of that, and therefore I need your help in communicating to the outside world, when we are talking about these issues, we are talking about economy. We are talking about creating jobs. We are just confronting our next generation, our children, with or there is a future or there isn't. So we have to act. And therefore I'm extremely positive about the last session I had with the telco industry this afternoon, in which we were absolutely on the same page, talking about we badly need that last part of the jigsaw in Europe to be fulfilled. What am I talking of? The European Union, 28 members of the family, 28 countries that took the decision to put their efforts together. And put their efforts together in a way that, for example, a single market is there. Not yet finalized for 100%, but the issue and the efforts are there, the single market is there. Very strange, very odd, so to say. One sector in the economic activities is excluded so far. The telco sector is not a part of the single market. The telco sector is still confronted with 28 ring-fenced, fragmented markets. I don't need to explain to you that is not the most efficient way to deal with. That is old-fashioned, to least to say. It is not effective at all. So the proposal that is at stake, and where together with the telco operators, but also with the manufacturers, with the Ericssons, with Nokia's, with Alcatel-Lucent, we all did sit together and we agree upon this has to be fixed. A telco single market part needs to be fulfilled. Having said that, we are very busy with Parliament, with Council, and I don't need to explain to you that in a democracy, and I'm a great believer in democracy, but that it takes a little bit more time than what, for example, in a decision-making process within an organization like you are involved in, that even in research and innovation, you need less time than in a democracy in getting decisions in, with a political backing. Having said that, what is at stake? And it's, of course, a step forward. It is not the final goal to have a single market for telcos. It is just the superstructure, so to say, in which then business world can prove that it is at stake. Now I'm coming back to research and innovation. All that being said, research and innovation is of extreme importance. Can you imagine, with all the problems that we are facing within Europe, talking about, for example, the European Commission, talking about unemployment and what have you, research and innovation in the new approach of Horizon 2020 is extremely important, and we are taking care of quite a bit of business money, so of European money, to put together for research and innovation. It is the biggest exercise ever done talking about research and innovation within our competence. By the way, and that is again a proof that if you do it together, if you sit together with the business partners and the European Commission, then you can make a deal. And what did we do? We put 700 million euros for 5G, and then I'm focusing on 5G. We put it at the table. The reaction, the answer of the business partners was triple it. We will triple it. And then later on they said, no, we do even more than triple it. So now it's 5 times more than what we put at the table. So it's over 3 billion euros in total for research and innovation. And then we are talking, that's not coffee money anymore. And having said that, why? Because we had the experience in the last century that we were taking the lead in standardization, in GSM and what have you. And now 5G should be the path where we can prove. And we are proving it. We are proving it together, and we ourselves are not proving it. But you are proving it, the researchers and the innovators, but we make it for a part possible and giving straight the money to exercise. And rightly said by you that it isn't only talking about Europe, it's talking about a global exercise. And we need to be aware that dynamically adaptable issues like 5G and what is at stake are asking for a global answer. So the policy, the digital industrial policy, is also based on research and innovation. And it is win-win if we are indeed getting it in the right way, the right moment, the scope of 5G, and the main technological constituents and the timetable for putting it in place. I'm quite optimistic that Europe can make a difference, and that we have to do it together with the business world, to create at the end of the day more prosperity, more economic growth, more jobs, and that we can indeed explain to the next generation that we were aware, that we are acting, and that it will make sense. Thank you.